Welcome back to the shop today, guys.
We've kind of made some changes in the shop, that corner very much so, to make some room for our powder coating project that's ongoing. I'll link those videos up here. But today I want to talk about my blasting cabinet and what I purchased at Harbor Freight to help me out with that.
So stick with me here and let's get to it. So I recently purchased
This blasting cabinet. This is from Princess Auto. And for y'all who don't know what Princess Auto is, it's the Canadian version of Harbor Freight.
There's really no better way to explain it other than that.
If you look at this cabinet, there is nothing different about this cabinet from Harbor Freight to Princess Auto. It's just blue. Harbor Freight's is red. That's it. Same thing, no difference, same place. It all comes
off the same boat, guys. But anyways, this came up used, and I got a sweet deal on it because these things have been doing nothing but climbing in price. Even used ones. It was hard to find a used one for around that $300 mark. Canadian. They're about $500 Canadian new. And I think they're about $240, $250 US at Harbor Freight, but by the time that's converted in Canadian funds, they're pretty dang close. So, this one came up. It was a steal. I bought it. No questions asked. This guy had so many tools that he just bought to have and never used. I actually tried getting a compressor off him as well, but he already had a buyer and I was second in line, but it was a big, nice 80-gallon, 18 CFM unit he was going to sell for $600. I was going to pick that up right now, but didn't get a chance to, so I'll deal with this. So, even my past video, I even said I went to Harbor Freight. I don't get to go down there much anymore. I do live in Canada. I am about 15, 20 minutes away from a border. Across the border, get into North Dakota. I can find myself a Harbor Freight. Love them. Love them, love them, love them. Anywho, I picked this guy up.
It's a little Cyclone deal. So a lot of people use these on their blasting cabinets. They have a picture of them just using it with a vacuum, which would work too, I guess. So basically what happens here is the vacuum creates suction. It pulls crud through this hose. The crud circulates around and falls into the pail, and it doesn't gum up your shop vac. Pretty simple. This one wasn't on sale, but it was cheap enough for me to buy it. So I picked it up. And I have a little shop vac under there, hoping that's going to be big enough. But I haven't been able to use this yet because I'm trying to get it set up. So that Cyclone is one of the things I wanted to open up and try. Hopefully it's good. It looks way better than the cheap ones I was looking at. So I'm excited. This is only my second ever Bauer product. I know people who know me would be surprised that I actually don't have a ton of Harbor Freight stuff. The stuff I always bought at Harbor Freight were little dinky things like shop gloves, shop rags, rubber gloves, knives, random stuff, shop lights. But never actually like most of the tools. Basically because even shopping there, buying tools, I'm still cheap. Cheaper, yes, I would dare to say I'm cheaper than Harbor Freight. That's very sad to say out loud. But anywho, I'm growing, becoming a big boy. My past video, we kind of reviewed and opened up our surface conditioning tool. Love that thing, by the way. Haven't had a chance to totally use that on our project. Welding table project coming soon. Or it's out already. I don't know when you're watching this. So yeah, got this. That light is also blown out in that cabinet. So I found this at Menards. 2-foot plug-in LED light. Just a simple light strip meant to hang underneath your cupboards or something. I'm going to see how long this thing will last. And I think there's a few upgrades I want to make to this thing. And I'll go through what I'm doing first. There are a lot of upgrades out there where they actually do a gravity feed, not a siphon feed. I do want to do that yet to this unit because I think that it would make this act more as like a blast pot. And I think it would work better, period. But I don't have the time or energy to do that right now. But I know there are some mods to make to this thing with it being siphon feed. And I'm hoping to do those in this video as well. So, needless to say, I'm going to wheel that thing out. We're going to take a look at it. See what we can do to mount that light. Get that Cyclone on there. I'm calling it a Cyclone. I don't know exactly what it's called. Yeah, Cyclone dust separator kit for 5-gallon bucket. I was right.
So yeah, I'll pull that out. We'll take a look at what we're working with and what we can all do to make this thing just a little bit more awesome. All right, taking another quick look at this guy.
He actually threw in a set of gloves for me, which is pretty sweet, because I tried to put my big mitts into this one and tore right out. A little dried out. It was never used, and it was in a cold shop. But yeah, that light up there, that's what comes factory with the guy. And it is not holding out too well. So that's that right there. That was a light. And the guy said that lasted
about as long as it took him to turn the switch on. And she was done.
Now, I don't know if it's something electrical or whatever, but I know that that's probably not enough light
that I would enjoy. So I got to replace the gloves.
This is what he was using. He literally just sent this out underneath his garage door and let that thing go. But this is where we're going to grab the dust collection. I might try doing an elbow to keep it nice and clean because I only have limited space. I had to sacrifice some workbench here. I'm not sure if I'm going to like that or not. But that corner, if you ever seen any of my past videos, always full of junk. All my big belt sanders and stuff I threw in that corner basically for storage. So this gives me an opportunity to try to clean myself up a little bit and also have a home for this guy. Now I'll need air in here too. I have this little blue line that runs around my shop. One comes down here, splits off from my plasma cutter, and I have a couple more drop downs out there, and it goes all the way around my shop. And I have actually an external tank back there. I don't know if you can really see it, but I have a tank right about there
to add the volume to my compressor,
which sits on this side. So I might tee in up there and bring a line down. I think I have extra line left and shoot it out to hook into this guy.
Maybe, sorta, kind of. We'll see what I come up with.
I'm also going to put a little bit of an elbow on this guy. That way the line doesn't stick out here. Excuse me, got the hiccups all of a sudden. But yeah, I might stick a 90 out and a 90 and shoot it underneath the door. Door's just a big chunk of plastic. Should redo some of the weather stripping on here. But it gets dark in there. I don't know if you'll really be able to see in there. Probably not. So you can kind of see the gloves there. But if I close the door, that's how dingy and dark it is in there. Now imagine when this thing's all dusty.
I'm going to need something to see. So I think I'm going to tackle the light first. And my plan is to actually do
an outlet. I might still use this switch. This switch still feels in good shape. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think the switch is good. Hopefully it is. If not, I'll do a light switch. But I'm going to put a box in here that has an outlet and maybe a new switch if this doesn't work. If not, I'll just do an outlet beneath it. And I'm going to have that hooked up to my shop vac. And then have, well, it was like a fancy power cord, but I'm going to change that. So when this unit is plugged in, when I hit this on, it turns on the light inside and the shop vac for our evacuation.
So I'm going to find a way to mount the light. Yeah, let's start there. Let's mount the light. So I'm just in the middle of pulling this switch off.
And I was hearing some sand come out of here, so I'm just curious. I want to kind of show you guys too. Think I know why the light wasn't working. Look at that. Huh.
That's probably part of the problem. So I might try to clean this up a little bit. Who knows? Maybe this light still works. I mean, I'm probably still going to replace it because I like the one I bought. But
that doesn't solve anything when sand comes blowing in there.
Now I have some, I don't know what they're called, but they're like a plastic nut with a rubber seal on them that you squeeze in and it grabs a hold of your cords. Let me see if I have one anything close by.
Yeah, right here.
See those guys? I might throw one of those on there just to keep sand from apparently filling that cavity up really quickly. There's probably one that fits that hole just fine. So I'm going to start with that. And yeah, who knows? Maybe this thing still works. But I don't have the power cord. So I'm going to rewire this anyway. See if the switch works. We'll go from there. All right. So I got that light out.
I took a couple other things apart here. I took the gloves out and the glass out so I could get at all these screws. The guy siliconed this shut. I'm going to do weather stripping and I'm going to do riv nuts in here. That way to take this on and off, I don't need to get my hands inside the box. So it should help me out a little bit. Here's the old light. Here's the new one. This one does not work. I tested it. Tested the switch, which I actually have on the end of a different power wire. This one works. When I fire it up, it lights up. And plus, I had it hooked up to my multimeter just to do a continuity test. That works. So the switch is fine. I was going to reuse the rubber cover on it, but that black trim piece, I took it off in one piece. I dropped it and the thing shattered. So it was too brittle. But that's okay. I think I can, if I seal it up well enough, this switch shouldn't need to be covered up like that. And besides, it wasn't working before anyway, because when I took this little rubber cap off, this was covered with sand too. So it was getting in there regardless. So I'm just going to do a better job of sealing up this box. I have it gutted now. I'll clean it up a little bit more here. But anywho, I am going to wire up this light. I'm just going to snip it however short I need it. Actually, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to mount it first. That'd probably be a better way to start. Now, it had these hooks up there. I'm going to see if I can reuse those in a manner that'll hold the light. Because this one that I purchased was meant to have it dangle on these chains. I don't want that like that, because then that thing in there is going to be swinging the whole time and it's going to give you a bunch of shadows. And yeah, I don't want that. So, move this out of the way. And I wish I had this power cord that came with it. But to be honest, this thing's probably shot too, so I don't know. I don't mind hardwiring it. At least then I know that the connection is good, or at least up to my standards. And if it doesn't work, it's this guy's fault. Yeah, so this one doesn't work. This can go in the trash. Might keep these plug ends though. These are nice to keep around when you're working on stuff. Don't ask me why, but I keep stupid stuff. So I'm gonna see if I can make those brackets hold this light. And we'll get that mounted. That'll tell me how short I need to cut this. This has a switch on it, but I'm gonna cut that off. Won't need that. And I'll try to leave a little bit because I like to keep these for other projects. Again, I like to keep random stuff. And I think I'm going to use this cord that I actually just pulled out of my junk pile because it already had the ends on it. Didn't even have to crimp anything. So that's nice. Okay, so these are the brackets that were in there. They held it on the wall, the back wall. What I'm going to do is I am actually going to drill some new holes up here. And I'm going to mount these things underneath here to give it kind of more of a straight shot over the material working area. These things actually fit. It's a little bush, but I think it'll work. They fit nice around the edge. I'm just going to get some bolts and some wing nuts to just squeeze this a little bit. That way I can also adjust the light a little bit this way. Should give me some better coverage going up top there. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'll probably do the nuts in. All the bolts were out before, so that way it's not such a sharp edges up top. So I'm going to drill a couple holes, get those things mounted, and then wire it up. Okay, so I have it mounted in there. I'll show it to you guys. It works all right. I mean, it's not the prettiest, but I mean, you'll never see it. And I just have it kind of jimmy rigged up to the switch here. I need to find that box that we were talking about with doing a switch and the plug for the shop vac, but I just have it kind of rigged up here. Check this out. Now that should be plenty, I think. Just another before and after here. If we can't make do with that, I don't know. And who knows, maybe I'll put another one up front here shooting down, but then I'll get the shadow of the gloves and stuff. I don't know. This should be plenty enough. My shop's pretty dark, so any light in here you'll see it pretty good. So anyways, I'm going to finish getting onto that box. I think I might need to go pick up a plug or a receptacle housing. I might check the scrap bin. I might even have some kicking around. But we'll get this box figured out and finished. And then we'll start working on our Cyclone. Stick with me. All right, so got that wired up. What I did here is I got my power coming in. It goes in here to the switch. And then the on side of the switch is wired up to the light. And then there's a pigtail that runs to this socket. I was able to find some in I have a random bin of electrical stuff. This one just happens to be from the time of Edison, so hopefully it still works. But anywho, so technically when I turn this thing on, the light should go on, and that should have power. And I have my shop vac hooked up. The shop vac is off right now. So we turn the light on. Okay, so that still works. And technically, if I flick this switch, that goes on. So now when I flick this on, everything should turn on. So besides from it being really noisy, that should do its job. So the light's in, it's wired up. Let's get the Cyclone on. Let's test it out. Right? That's all there really is to it. Now I did say we're going to do some modifications to the cab. I might not get to that in this video. I might just get that Cyclone up. But yeah, let's get it on there, because that's the main reason I wanted to make this video, is because I wanted to see what this thing actually was and what it was like. So I'm going to clean up my workspace here. My CNC plasma table has become my workbench because everything else is busy. If your shop ain't dirty, you ain't working. So, oh, but I need to clean this all up too. So there might be a little bit. I might come back in a day or two after I got this all cleaned up. I'm going to get all this silicone off here. There's some areas where I need to redo it. He had this thing set up really funny. So I might do some small things like those riv nuts for the front and get the gloves on. I might do that off camera because that's pretty simple. But I want to get that Cyclone on. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so I got that Cyclone unboxed here. This is what it kind of comes with here. One of the reasons I bought this kit is because it came with a little bit more than all the other ones. And it was the same price as the, what was that brand? It was a clear one with a blue label. I forget what it's called, but everyone seems to use that one. It just comes with that piece. You're kind of left on your own for some other pieces. This comes with a lid already cut, gasket, bolts, hose, and an adapter. This is very valuable to me because I don't have one of the bigger shop vacs. I have the smaller ones. So I'm gonna get that mounted to the lid. I apparently need to find a pail. Didn't think that through. And I'm pretty sure I have a pail here somewhere. Just need to dig it out. So I'm gonna find a pail. And yeah, so basically the shop vac gets hooked up to this one, and the let me double check that actually. I'm not sure which one. Let's check the manual. Don't tell anybody I'm looking at the manual, because that would be embarrassing. Vacuum at the top. Vacuum at the top. So the vacuum chute comes in here to suck out there, and this comes in from your sandblasting cabinet. And then everything should fall into the pail without gumming up your shop vac. I'm going to put that to the test. Hopefully that does what it says it does. And I'm going to get this set up. And hopefully I can try it out soon. But I'll set it up and I'll show you guys. Get everything else patched up back to working order. And then we'll give it a whirl. So I got the Cyclone on. And I got this guy put back together. New mitts in there, which is nice. Cyclone I have right here on this side. Sitting pretty there. My shop vac is sitting right there. And yeah, no, it's a nice viewing area. I think this is going to work really good. I tried cleaning this glass, and from what I see, I didn't do a very good job. But what are you going to do about it? So anyway, I'm going to try to blast something, because that's the whole point of this. And I mean, I'm pretty sure it kind of works. I have a piece in there right now that I'm going to blast. Just some key hooks that I make for some local store. And so I'm going to blast that real quick, and we'll show you the results. Okay, so that worked really well. Cyclone acted as it should. This is the result after. I mean, I should have taken it before so you guys could actually tell. But no, it works really, really well. I did try it without the dust collector prior to this video. And yeah, that dust collector works. Now, I do have some leaks on the blaster itself, which I will address. You can actually see one right here. It's coming out of here when I'm blasting. So I got to kind of re-silicone this up. I know I redid the seal around the glass. I did that with weather stripping. And I also re-weather stripped this as well, because this was kind of tore up. So yeah, all in all, works like it should. I mean, the video is mainly about the Cyclone and the light, adapting that to an older cabinet. And I do want to do some more to this thing. I want to do either gravity feed, or I want to hook this up to a blast pot.
There's a lot of reasons for either or. Gravity feed might be the way I go. I would like to do a blast pot is my first choice, but space. And I'm kind of getting a little carried away. I'm nervous to show you this, but if you want to look at my workbench right now, it's an absolute nightmare. But if your shop ain't dirty, you ain't doing nothing. So I'm obviously doing a lot. And I think that's true, but I'm not making a lot of progress. I'm just doing a lot of things. But as for now, the blast cabinet works as it should. The siphon feed is working for now. And we might do some more updates to that thing in the future. But for right now, that'll do its job. And I'm pumped that now I can actually get the dust out of there and can actually see what I am blasting. So anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I've had a good, strong start to 2023. There's been a lot of things going. Our powder coating oven, our welding table. I got to build my powder coating booth, all that kind of stuff. But if you haven't seen any of those, go check out my channel, guys. Those videos, if they're not up, they will be soon. And between that and then trying to kind of start a small business with the plasma cutter, which has kind of been working. It's been going well, a lot of interest. I want to get into more parts and stuff like that, but that comes down to the right customers, which I think I have yet to find. But the customers I do have are very much appreciated so far. So I'll keep you updated as that progresses. And yeah, I think that's it for this, guys. Like I said, there's more I wanted to do, but this video is just getting too long. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Please subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya.